Welcome to Geek Zone Wrestling, the podcast by two wrestling fans who just want to talk about wrestling. Bad Blood just happened like an hour ago. Well, ended an hour ago. So we thought we'd cover it.
Yeah, it was a decent show.
The first match, unfortunately, we missed most of due to
Timing constraints.
yeah. So as we tuned in, the only thing that we were able to see was Drew McIntyre attempting a Claymore and landing on steel steps right on the tailbone, looked like either that or the small of the back.
And then CM Punk stuffing beads in McIntyre's mouth.
Who knows where they were before that?
And
He
then
was very anal about those things.
and then subsequently wrapped a chain around his knee and gave McIntyre a GTS.
So yeah, that match was a doozy for us. That whole sequence right there.
I mean, it looked like they must have been going at it for a while because there was actually a lot of blood. Bad blood.
Ha! Unfortunately, that was one of the matches I was really looking forward to, and I missed most of it. But
Yeah, that was slightly disappointing.
From what I did see, it looked like it was a really good match.
Looked like it was a banger.
After banger.
After banger. After banger.
So unfortunately, it's going to be really difficult to give a proper critique on that match. So moving on to the next match, unfortunately, which was Bailey Nia?
Yes.
Was that the second match?
Yeah, Bailey Nia. Terrible.
Well, it looked like Bailey was trying her hardest to make a good match.
Bailey was. She was trying really hard, and Nia's.
I couldn't tell if Nia wasn't trying or if she just wasn't physically able to make anything good.
That's a hard call. Like, I feel like Nia has the ability to make spots good, but not the ones that they tried to pull off.
Like trying to have Nia Jax do a Hurricane Rana.
Number one, worst call ever. They should have never even thought, hey, you know what would be a great idea? To have Nia do a Hurricane Rana on Bailey. Whoever said that should be fired. Number two, it was the most horrific Hurricane Rana I've ever seen. Like, Bailey had Nia up like she was going to power bomb her, and then all of a sudden, Nia falls off to the side, and Bailey's standing there for a second, and then she flips over.
Yeah.
And it looked absolutely ridiculous.
In a lot of the spots involving Nia, like you could see that Bailey was trying to sell stuff, but she couldn't time it with what Nia was doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. Nia was not in it tonight, and I don't know.
And there was like a whole bunch of like random just like slapping, and it didn't even look like it was. It didn't look believable as legit slaps.
And as a champion, you don't like do these little slaps to the back of someone's head. It's not indicative of a powerhouse, which she is supposed to be.
Well, she's a house. I'm not really sure if it's a powerhouse, but
so, all in all, I'm going to have to give this match a D. And that's because of Bailey's efforts.
You're giving Bailey the D?
I mean, she hasn't asked, but
oh no, wait, you're giving Nia the D.
Not a chance.
I didn't realize you were already going to give it a rating. We hadn't gotten to the ending.
I know, but
Tiffany Stratton coming down, trying to hit Bailey with the briefcase. Then she puts the briefcase down wake up the referee who Nia had fallen on. And the referee saw the briefcase, thought Tiffy was cashing it in.
Picked it up.
Tiffy goes to grab the briefcase from her. Nia pulls an Undertaker, sits up, sees the two of them holding the briefcase, and
looks really pissed off for a minute. And then she gets up and starts walking toward Tiffy. And did I not call it? I was like,
yeah, she's going to hit her
kick
in
her in the back
and
and roll her up, and then nothing.
That's exactly what she did.
But Nia kicked out and finished the match. And
yep, basically avalanche Samoan drop followed by a
letting go of the ropes ass drop.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Nia's still pissed. I also am going to give it a D for Bayley's determination. But like I'm watching this match and thinking she is going out there and doing her best to put on the best performance. And Nia's just looking like she just doesn't really want to do anything.
She's looking like she just doesn't have the capability.
Well, it's like it didn't look like she was making any kind of effort to make it look good. She was just striking, which is fine and all, but if you've got another person who's like, pulling a Mr. Perfect kind of, not necessarily sell, because some of the things you really couldn't, but she was attempting to pull like a Mr. Perfect sell out of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
To make Nia look like an annihilator.
Well played. I like that.
So I can't give it a straight F.
I can't either because, Bayley.
If it had been Bayley with anybody else, I think it would have been at least a B. Because she was putting on a hell of a show. She just had nothing to work with.
Agreed.
It's like it would be basically the same as her going out there and just like flipping over and pretending that a ghost attacked her.
Yeah.
It's like when Vince McMahon claimed to be facing God.
Yeah, that was a low light of the night.
Yeah. Match after that was, I believe, Finn and Damien.
Yes.
Which was
fantastic.
Oh, that was second best match of the night in my opinion.
Second best?
Yes.
Oh, McIntyre Punk.
Yes. The one that I missed.
The one we didn't see. So, yeah.
But based off of what I saw, it was the best match of the night.
But yeah, Finn and Damien put on a hell of a show.
Athleticism. And Damien managing to pull out the win despite having JD McDonough and Carlito interfere.
Yeah.
Actually, it worked against Finn Balor because he went to get a chair to hit Damien, and Damien kicked it into his face while the referee was distracted by Carlito. He then dispatched Carlito and JD, and then they battled a little bit more, and then he hit a South of Heaven chokeslam for the win.
And pinned Finn.
Mm-hmm.
And match El Finn. El Fine.
Fine!
But yeah, the match was wonderful.
I give that match a B+.
I was going to say B+.
I mean, there were a couple spots that were yeah.
Well, that's every match. Like, they can't spend, 30 minutes just going hot and heavy the whole time. There's those moments that it's like, eh.
Well, it was things that were kind of redundant. Like, the one time Damien went and, Finn rolled out of the ring and Damien went another side and then ran around.
Yeah.
And then later in the match did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you already did this once in the match. Like maybe do something different this time. Now he did end up crucifix powerbombing him onto the apron, so
Yes, he did.
that was a little bit more refreshing. And then like Finn doing 3 double double stomps off the top turnbuckle onto Damien's back.
The coup de grace.
Well, it's a coup de grace when he's laying down.
Eh.
But anyway, then it's like he did the third one. It's like counter, boom, counter. It's like, oh, who would have guessed that?
Yeah, unless the opponent is down on the ground after the second one, you know that a counter's coming.
But other than those, where it was either predictable or repetitive, it was actually a really good match. They played off each other well. I mean, they worked together for what, like a year or two?
At least, yeah, I think it was roughly that.
So they know each other really well. They have great chemistry. A lot of counters into other moves that were countered into other moves. A lot of good striking, a lot of good speed action with Finn mixed with the power from Damien. All in all, a really good match.
Yeah, really good match. And I'll be
And the
honest,
only thing keeping it from being an A was, like I said, the
repetitive and the predictable.
Yes, overly predictable.
The one thing I love seeing that I would like to see more of is from Damian Priest. I'd like to see more of his martial arts background stuff.
Like at one point, Finn went to hit him. Finn was on the apron, and Damien was in the ring. And Finn went to hit him, and he moved and did like a twirling kick to Finn's face. Like, that was super cool.
Yeah, it was like a Trouble in Paradise.
But he was standing.
Yeah.
Because he's tall enough. But then, like, the very end, well, towards the end, when Finn was doing the 3 the double stomp to the back, that's like, okay, now it's super predictable because you know, because he's not staying down, he's going to counter, and he's going to grab him by the throat and chokeslam him. It's like Kane, Undertaker, all that stuff all over again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So that really kind of bummed me out, but everything else was awesome.
Yeah, the rest of the match was amazing. So moving into the next.
Are we all ready to relive?
Yes.
Oh, there was an announcement.
Yeah, Triple H made an announcement for the Crown Jewel.
Yeah, there will be a World Heavyweight Champion versus Undisputed WWE Champion, and a Women's World Heavyweight Champion versus a Women's Undisputed WWE Champion. And the winner of each of those matches will get a Crown Jewel Championship.
Yes. And the championship belt was huge and gaudy. It was filled with diamonds, Triple H said. So, I mean, I'm sure it's grandiose. I'll be honest, I didn't like the design.
I saw it, I was like, whoa, the thing's like big, right in your face.
Yeah, it's a huge belt. Like, the front faceplate is ginormous. Yeah. But and then Gunther comes out and
oh yeah, Gunther comes out. And by the way, they spent the entire night pointing out all of the different legends that were there.
Yep.
And Arn all the Anderson, different rappers.
Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard,
X-Pac,
Jacqueline, Mickey James,
Scott Steiner, Booker T, Goldberg. I'm missing one. DDP. I was like, who was next to Mickey James?
And Gunther came out and he started, talking to Triple H about how he had raised his hand at King of the Ring and World Championship, and now he's going to redo it at Crown Jewel. And then he started talking to Goldberg.
And then he started talking to Gage Goldberg
Yes.
and said that he hopes that Goldberg is a better father than he was a wrestler. To which Goldberg jumped the barricade, went to go after Gunther. Everyone stopped him, and then Sami Zayn came out and attacked
Yeah.
Gunther and kind of kicked his ass a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He did. And then Triple H raised Goldberg's hand.
Which is making me think, I'm making a guess, during the World Heavyweight Championship match tomorrow, not tomorrow night, this is Saturday, on Monday night, Goldberg is going to come out and spear Gunther. And then Sammy may or may not win the title, but then it's going to lead to a Gunther Goldberg match. Hopefully, a Goldberg retirement match.
Hopefully. I'll be honest, I don't even want to see the match. I just want to see. I would love to see Goldberg spear Gunther, Sammy get a world title reign.
Even if it's just for a couple months till Survivor Series.
Yeah, even if it doesn't last long.
Actually, Survivor Series is already next month.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even care if he loses it the next week. I just want him to have world champion on his resume.
Yeah, same. Well, that's how I always felt about Matt Hardy. I always wanted him to have just like that triple crown. Although I don't think he ever had the Intercontinental. So yeah, he'd be triple crown.
Yeah, I wasn't big on Matt Hardy getting a world title.
I wanted to make sure that both of the Hardy boys, had good careers. That's really all I cared about. And it felt like they wouldn't even give Matt like many uh mid card titles. Like he had United States and Cruiserweight.
Well, and I mean, I feel like that's because they knew from the very start that Jeff was the superstar.
Well, he's the enigma. I get that, but still, it's just I was really hoping that both of them would be able to, like, if they went into the Hall of Fame, no one would be like, well, Matt's only in there because of Jeff.
Well, I mean, let's not be rash here. Matt got an ECW title.
That doesn't count. No one counts that. WWE doesn't even count that.
So then we get into Liv versus Rhea with Dom Dom in a shark tank. In a shark cage, I should say.
It is suspended in air, but the Rhea and Liv match was it was good, but not great.
Yeah, I can't say that
it was very normal.
Yeah, I can't say that it was the best thing I've seen from those two.
Well, and just the fact that this is like the third time that they've done this, it was all basically the same stuff, other than Rhea managing to avoid getting hit with Oblivion.
Yeah, when she flipped out of that and landed on her
Yeah, she
feet.
did like sort of like a somersault thing. But then it got amusing. Dom kicked the cell door open, the cage door, because it wasn't actually locked. Which I noticed from the beginning, but I didn't say anything because
I didn't either because I saw the thing just kind of moving freely, and I was like, they didn't lock that.
you'd already said he was going to break free.
Yeah, every shark cage match I've ever seen, they always get out.
But I didn't know if they were, it obviously wasn't locked, but if in the story it was locked, like, and there was going to be like a key or something, they just pretend to unlock it.
Yeah.
And they left it unlocked because, obviously they've got a time frame to work with. So like if it was locked and they couldn't get it unlocked in time, now they missed their spot.
Right.
And that's big to not miss your spot.
It is.
And funny enough, that happened to Dom when he was having his custody battled over. Vicky Guerrero missed her spot, and Eddie climbed to the top of the ladder, and she was supposed to come knock him down. And he's just standing on top of the ladder going, "Where's Vicky?" And, it ended up being heard. But she missed her spot, and he could have just grabbed the thing, but he wasn't supposed to. So he's just up there going like, what?
What do I do?
Yeah. So that's why I didn't say anything at first, because I thought it might have just been a spot saver. But turns out, no, he was just waiting until they kicked the door open.
Yeah.
But then he fell out and was dangling from the open shark cage, to which Rhea gets a kendo stick and starts beating on him like a piñata.
Well, she got in the ring and she
Highlight
started
of the match. Oh yeah, she told the
referee, "I have some unfinished business.
I'll be back.
I'll be right back."
He was like, "All right, cool, that's fine. You deserve that."
So Rhea goes out and just starts beating him like he's a piñata with the kendo stick.
Before she's blindsided from behind by Raquel Rodriguez,
who we haven't seen in months.
No. Due to some medical issues. But it was good to see her back. She gets Rhea in the ring, gives her a not so great looking Tiana bomb. Rhea wins via disqualification, but does not get to walk out with the title. And yeah. Ending was pretty good. The rest of the match was just very generic to me. I give it a C.
We're on the same wavelength tonight, because it was a C. It was very, very average. It wasn't that spectacular match that we saw at Mania or SummerSlam.
Yeah. SummerSlam.
SummerSlam it was. And I'll be honest, this pay-per-view in and of itself didn't hold a candle to SummerSlam.
Now, to be fair, SummerSlam is one of the big four.
Granted. But when you have a SummerSlam like that, and then you come to a Bad Blood like this, it's kind of a letdown a little bit.
Wait, is Survivor Series still next month? Because they said the Crown Jewel's in 4 weeks. I thought Survivor Series was always around Thanksgiving.
It always was.
So are we having 2 pay-per-views in November now? Or I'm sorry, PLEs? Premium Live Events?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, same. I don't know why that just magically occurred to me.
That's a very good point, because they did specifically say in 4 weeks Crown Jewel is happening. So that's a very, very good point.
But anyway, sorry to interrupt, ADD moment. But you were talking about how Survivor Series was...
SummerSlam.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
November 30th. So one at the beginning of the month, one at the literally end.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, SummerSlam was so amazing from start to finish. I mean, there was one lull match, which was, the women's title. But everything except for that was amazing. And then to come in and see, Nia and Bayley look terrible. Well, Nia looked terrible. Bayley tried, but you can't make a great match with one person looking great and the other one looking horrible. It just doesn't work. And then, the Rhea Liv match wasn't bad per se, but it wasn't great.
No, not like their match at SummerSlam, which was...
It was fantastic. So yeah, very, very average as far as Rhea Liv. Definitely a C. And I believe that took us right to the main event.
No, not main event.
Main event.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns
And Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu.
And I noticed right off the bat, well, you noticed first that Solo and Jacob got in the ring. They cut away for like a second.
Or what seemed like a second.
And then
it
when
just
they
looked like a normal entrance.
And then when they popped back, they had the Arkansas marching band around the ring.
In Atlanta.
And they started playing Cody Rhodes music. And I mean, I remember you turned to me, you were like, where'd the band come from? And it was hilarious because, like, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, when did they get there? Because, I mean, it was not a long period of time between.
And they were surrounding the ring with, like tubas and trombones and French horns.
And yellow and, red?
Yellow and white, I think.
But, I mean, they were really bright outfits, so it's not like we wouldn't have seen them walking in.
Especially since they came in with, like, the dark and red, like, glowy entrance lights.
Right. And they were just all of a sudden there.
Yeah.
And started playing Cody Rhodes' music.
And it literally seemed like just a normal entrance. Like, there's no way it felt like they could have all come out and gotten into their positions without anything being caught on camera. That was exceptional camera work, and the band's really good at teleporting, I gotta say.
So they played Cody Rhodes' music, and as they're doing that, we're referencing how this is a very WrestleMania-esque type of entrance.
Yep. And then Cody gets in the ring, and all of a sudden that band's gone and another band is out.
With cellos and
more French horns.
Stringed instruments to play the music for
the OTC. And then it's like, what happened to the other band? Where'd that band come from? What just happened?
And we know it was a different band because they were in like black shirts, and I couldn't even tell what kind of pants, but
they didn't have hats.
They were a completely different group, and it's like, wait a minute, who, where, when, how,
why? What?
One band disappeared and the other appeared in an instant.
And again, like, it was exceptional camera work, and the band, bands in this case, must have been, like, top notch. And you didn't, like, I mean, there was music in the background and a crowd and all that, but you didn't notice anything happening.
They were top notch, and they must have been going at top speed.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know if they had, like, a secret entrance, like, somewhere, or, like, how they have the ramp and then they've got, like, those dark areas. I don't know if they were, like, hiding out there.
Well, like I said, there is absolutely no way that entire Arkansas band could fit underneath the ring.
With their instruments.
Yeah.
Which was apparently difficult for me to say.
There's no way. Like, how do you get across the barrier, around the ring, without anybody noticing?
Yeah. Well, like I said, like, as they came in, they may have been, like, behind the partitions or whatever. And then, like, once they were moving in here, they're just, like, slowly creeping behind them. And then once they're in the ring, they're like, okay, the camera's on them. Get there now. And then all of a sudden, you just got this mad dash of all these, like, band dudes and women.
Dudes and dudettes.
Yeah.
And bam, there they are. So anyways, yeah, that was the most amusing part of all this.
And then, like, Roman comes out, and then, oh, we're ready to start the match. Band's gone again.
Yeah. And then
no sign that they were ever there.
And then Roman and Cody start discussing who's going to be in the ring first. And Roman's like, you want me to go? Or, I mean, how do you want to play? I'll go. Do you want me to go?
I mean, I said I'd have your back. Doesn't mean I'd go first. Like, we need to... And of course, the crowd is chanting for Roman because they have been waiting for this match, just like the rest of us, ever since Roman lost the title. And Solo was like, I'm tribal chief now.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, Roman needs to come back. Roman needs to be like, hell nah, bro. And then here we are.
So yeah, Roman was by far more over than Cody was tonight. And the match itself was really good. I mean, there was a lot of expected spots, and then there were some surprises at the end.
Actually, the funny thing is, even the expected spots looked good.
They did.
It wasn't, it was something that you had predicted, but it was even like better than you expected it to be. Like
Yeah.
with Roman Reigns coming in and he got thrown against the ropes. Like you're expecting him to go underneath Solo's clothesline, bounce off the ropes, and spear him. But no, he jumps up and hits with a Superman.
Clothesline?
Yeah, something like that. Down fist. And then he ends up bouncing off the ropes again. You're thinking like, oh, Superman punch. Nope, he hits a big boot.
Yeah.
So, you're predicting his moves, but it was mixed up a little bit. He did eventually end up hitting the Superman punch. Meh.
And the spot where Cody Rhodes, outside of the ring, he's going against Fatu, and Fatu's doing his no sell thing. No, he runs through the barricade by himself, and Cody just kind of sidesteps him. Fatu goes through the barricade, falls down, acts like he's going to be hurt, then stands right back up.
Yeah, and then he ends up grabbing a chair, and Cody hits him against the chair, and Cody kicks him a couple times, pretends like he's going to put him through the announce table. Actually does decide to put him through the announce table.
Well, before that, he did a crossroads.
Oh yeah, crossroads onto the apron or
onto the floor.
Yeah, ringside.
Then he kicked him a couple of times to get him up on the announce table.
And then he did a splash off the top rope. And then Tama Tonga Loa came down, tried to distract Roman. Solo went for a pin after. Was that the Samoan drop, or I don't think he hit the spike.
He didn't hit the spike.
Yeah, I think that was. Well, he made a pin attempt, and Roman kicked out. And then, wait, who's that with the Tonga?
So, yeah, Tama Tonga Lower standing outside the ring, and Solo's mouthing to Roman. I mean, just screaming at him, telling him, all this stuff. You're nothing. I'm the tribal chief, blah, 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 blah. And then he turns to look, and he sees Tama Tonga Loa, and somebody standing in between them with a black hoodie.
And white shoes. Who could that possibly be? Super kick to one, super kick to the other, hoodie off, bandana down, Jimmy Uso.
Jimmy Uso returned, took down Tama Tonga Loa, which gave the opening.
And then he looks at Solo and it's like, come on. Solo ends up getting
a spear.
Reined
Yeah,
in.
Getting reined in by a spear.
Roman ends up pinning, winning. Jimmy goes in. They have a nice little moment, reunite. And they're going to leave the match showing some respect to Cody for honoring his word. Cody shows respect to them for honoring their word. As they're going up the ramp, Tama Tonga Loa Solo, Fatu, the whole lot of them start jumping Cody. Jimmy and Roman look back, and Jimmy's like, you're going to help because, you told him that you were going to have his back. And Roman said, that was a one-time thing. And Jimmy said, I'm with you. I'll do whatever you say. But are we going to have his back or not?
And Roman
decides, let's do it. They go in, they clean house. Everybody's standing there. Roman looks at the title. He hands Cody the title, and then the Titantron asks people if they can smell
What The Rock is
is cooking.
cooking.
Final boss comes out, just stares. And we don't
Stares.
know if he was staring at Cody or Roman. Kind of seemed like he was staring at Roman.
The angle his head was at looked like he was staring at Roman. Then he did his people's eyebrow.
And then he turned around and walked away.
Well, he counted down. He counted 1, 2, 3.
And then his music hit and he walked away.
And then he did the little cut sign across his throat. And he walks off.
So we're going to have to find out if that is directed at Roman, Cody, Jimmy, all of them. Who knows?
Yeah, because the last time we saw The Rock, he was saying how when he comes back, he's coming for Cody. And now,
Roman has a temporary truce with Cody, at least.
at the very least, yeah. So when Rock left, Cody was against Roman. Rock comes back. Cody and Roman are kind of, sort of together-ish.
It's one of those enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of deals.
Yeah.
And Cody is good with Jay, and, Jimmy and Roman are like kind of wanting things the way they used to be, which would include Jay.
I don't want Jay, though, in that.
Nah, man, he's my interregional champion.
Right? I'm loving his solo stuff right now. He is on top of the world.
Yeah, he's the new tribal chief.
Yeet.
You said his solo.
The one thing I thought would have made this better is, Roman still doesn't have the Ulafala.
No, he, for some reason, did not get that back.
I
guess technically that would have to be in like tribal combat or something.
I don't know, but I just kept thinking, hey, Jimmy, go get the Ulafala. Give it to Roman.
Cody,
or
go get the Ulafala.
Cody. I thought that would have been a really classy move.
You give me my title, I give you your peppers.
Yeah. I thought that would have been a super classy way to end it. Have Cody handing Roman the Ulafala after Roman handed him the title. Roman turns to leave the ring and Cody taps him and is like, no, wait, hang on. Goes out, grabs the Ulafala and gives it to him. I thought that would have been a fantastic way to end it.
Yep, I agree. But it's not what we got.
Yeah, not what we got. I'd have liked to have seen it, though.
I also would have liked to have seen The Rock get a microphone.
And actually say something?
Yep.
Me too.
Finally!
The Rock has come finished back filming.
Or that.
I don't know. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what happens now on Raw. I would love to hear what The Rock has to say. So
are we sure it's going to be Raw? Because Cody's on SmackDown. Roman's technically a free agent, but has pretty much been exclusively on SmackDown.
Crap.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait till Friday.
Oh, man. So overall,
only 6 days.
That's a long 6 days when you're waiting for something big time.
Yeah.
So overall, your thoughts, pay-per-view as a whole.
Pay-per-view as a whole?
I'm sorry, PLE.
Yeah, PLE is a whole. That's tough. Because I would give. I'm assuming that the Hell in a Cell match was an A. And I would give the final match an A. And then there's a B, a C, and a D. I'd have to go with, I guess, a B minus.
I was going to go with a C.
Well, still close.
Yeah, I mean, as pay-per-views go.
PLEs.
Yeah, as PLEs.
I need to try and get myself out of the pay-per-view. It was a pay-per-view all my life, and then they're like, oh well, now they're premium live events because we're on streaming services now. It's like, why? Why?
Yeah, exactly. And it's
It's
been
like
the
when
same way.
WWF first went to WWE.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things that I've got to work myself out of too, because my entire life it's been a pay-per-view. At any rate, as PLEs go, I've seen some fantastic ones. I've seen some terrible ones. This was kind of in the middle.
Well, I thought there was only one really bad match. There were three like good matches, and then one average match. So I thought it would go to like above average, but kind of good.
See, I just didn't feel that way. Like even with the good matches, I wasn't on the edge of my seat like I was for SummerSlam,
You
and
weren't even in your seat at the end of the pay per view.
right, exactly. That's my point. Now, granted, neither of us were in our seats at the end of this one either, but that was the only time we really ended up out of our seat. The some of these other pay-per-views this year were just so good that this one was kind of a letdown a little bit. Like it wasn't awful, it wasn't terrible.
Sort of like Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank was a disappointment this year. WrestleMania, oh, WrestleMania, both nights were awesome.
Well, night 1 wasn't as good as night 2.
Well, no, but WrestleMania weekend was still WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, it was still a really good weekend.
Night 2 was better, but night 1 was still good.
Night 1 was good. Yeah. But I mean, this one for me was just like I was in my seat the whole time like, okay, yeah, this is all right. And then at brief moments I was like, wow, that was cool. Versus the majority of the pay-per-view or PLEs that we have watched recently, it's been like, oh my god, that was freaking amazing.
I really SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble this year wasn't as great as in the past, but it was still good. And Elimination Chamber were all fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what was the one in Paris or in France? Backlash.
Yes.
That one was also really good.
So I mean,
But like, Elimination Chamber was in Sydney,
right.
and then Backlash was in France. Dude, those foreign countries, the crowds are fantastic.
Yeah, they put America's crowd to shame.
And I think that was part of the reason that those two pay per views were so great. I mean, the matches were awesome, but the crowd being so into it got you pumped too.
Yeah, and I'm sure it got the wrestlers pumped too, and they fed off of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not bad. Like five of the, live the PLEs from this year were awesome.
Yeah, and
Now, I mean,
maybe
I
that's
didn't get to see Bash in Berlin, so I can't really claim on that one.
maybe that's partially why this one didn't feel as good and why I'm grading as low as I am, because maybe we've been spoiled a little bit. But
Well, and unfortunately, the last one that you and I got to watch together was, in fact, SummerSlam,
right,
because Bash in Berlin didn't get to see, and
I actually did get to see Bash.
I didn't. I was working.
And then this last one before this one, I didn't get to watch or it was the one in. This last one was in Canada.
The next one's in Canada. Survivor Series is in Canada.
There was one that was in. I think it was Montreal.
Yeah.
because there were a couple of PLEs in a row that were in foreign areas, and I thought one of them was Montreal because Sami Zayn lost in front of his crowd.
Yeah, but he lost at SummerSlam. Let's see, what was it? Oh, it's bugging me.
But my point being that the PLEs have been so good this year that this may have been a good PLE in a normal year, but this has not
It
been a
was
normal
Money in the
year.
Bank. Money in the Bank was the one in Canada.
Yeah,
I don't know why I couldn't remember Money in the Bank. And unfortunately, I also did not get to see King of the Ring. I did get to see Clash at the Castle. But
yeah. But we've had some outstanding PLEs this year, and this one just didn't live up to that standard.
no, it really didn't. But again, the last pay per view that you and I saw
PLE.
together. See, I told you I need to get myself out of that.
I'm trying my best.
Um, I thought if I corrected you, it'd be easier for me, but clearly it's not working. The last one that we got to watch together was SummerSlam, which
Right.
was insanely good.
Yeah, it was beyond good. It was even better than Mania, as far as I'm concerned.
The match between Liv and Rhea, the match between Braun and Sammy.
Seth and Drew, that was Mania. That was a really good match, and
Um,
that's what put me on to Damian. I was dead set against Damian being the champion.
Damian and Gunther, which at that point you didn't have to worry about Damian being champion.
Well, at that point, I was actually getting into Damian because I mean he really, really stepped it up in that short amount of time.
Yeah. And then just I don't know what it was, but I even liked the way the stadium was. You know, it was an open stadium, so when they started, it was light outside, and that was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets darker and everything, but it was just I don't know. There was something about that premium live event.
Good call.
Um, it felt like a WrestleMania,
Yes, it did. It very much so.
and not because bands appeared out of nowhere and started playing entrance music.
No, because anytime that this has happened before, you've seen the band coming in.
Yeah. They're coming out of the back, and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. Either that, or it's like WrestleMania, and you see a bunch of people dressed up as John Cena, coming out, and then they disappear.
Or a bunch of druids coming out
Yeah,
and holding up flaming sticks.
yeah. But yeah, that was my opinion, and I agree with you. It was probably a little bit of us being spoiled that led to this one being such a disappointment. But I mean, again, it didn't suck. It was just average.
Yeah, yeah, it was okay.
I mean, it was kind of. I feel like the Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso should have been this instead of Monday Night Raw.
I agree.
And I don't know why the World Heavyweight Championship is being defended on Raw.
I don't
Now
either.
I get that Bad Blood they had a lot of like rivalry stories. That was basically the whole point. Drew and Punk, Damian and Finn, Rhea and Liv, the Bloodline versus Cody and Roman. It was all legit Bad Blood. But I feel like I know that Braun and Jay put on a hell of a match.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that Sammy and Gunther are going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But that's how I
The
feel.
the problem I got with them putting the world title on the line on Raw is, when was the last time they changed the world title on Raw?
When someone got injured.
Okay, take me back.
Actually, the last time that I remember a world title being changed on a show was actually the WWE Championship on SmackDown.
And how long ago was that? I mean, it's been years.
I want to say 6 years ago.
So, by doing the world title match on Raw this coming week,
Well, you know Sammy's going to lose. But
it's pretty much a given that Gunther's retaining. So, I feel like that takes away from that match.
Either Sammy's going to lose or he's going to win, but not win in a way that gets him the title.
So I feel like it takes away from that match overall, because it's already kind of understood that he's losing, or one way or the other, he's not getting the title.
But I definitely like the whole Nia Bailey thing. Either one of those two combinations would have made a better title match.
Yes, I agree. At any rate, that's our 2 cents on Bad Blood. Let us know what you think. We hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. I mean, it's wrestling. It's professional wrestling, and I think I speak for both of us that good PLE, bad PLE, it's still wrestling, and we love it.
Yeah. It's just that, when I was a kid, I couldn't watch the pay-per-views because, my parents were like, we're not
Gonna
paying,
pay
we're not
per
paying money
view.
so that you can watch a wrestling event. Like they didn't have the money to spare.
Right.
So now to be able to watch this, like, come here, watch it with you. It's everything that I wanted when I was a kid, but now I appreciate it more and I know the value of it more than I did when I was little. When I was little, I was just, ooh, I want someone to like jump off a ladder and go through tables.
When I was little, I wanted people to fall off of a scaffold and
Mine's better.
get fireballs in their face.
Okay, yours is better. But no, I mean, like I've said before, my first, a buddy of mine showed me the VHS of WrestleMania X7 and, TLC 2. Like, holy crap, that's so cool.
And I know we covered this in our very, very first podcast, but my first memory was Night of the Skywalkers, NWA, Rock and Roll Express, and the Midnight Express.
Anakin and Luke.
And it was unbelievable how quickly it hooked me in.
Yeah.
And I did have friends that we'd watch weekly, and occasionally we were able to get some of the pay-per-views, but it wasn't all the time.
It wasn't until literally the first one I watched live was WrestleMania 33 right here in this house.
That's the first one you watched live?
Mm-hmm. All the other ones I had to watch pre-recorded.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I watched a lot when I was a kid, and as a teenager, I worked, so I was able to give my dad money and say, "Hey, here's for the bill. I'm going to watch a pay-per-view." So that would happen, and Like, I've watched tons and tons of them since my childhood, but I can honestly say I've never had as much fun as I have hanging out with you and watching them.
Well, I mean, I think, as now, we've watched it enough that we're sitting there like, oh, I bet this is going to happen. Or like, oh, I think I know this could happen.
Or doing the commentary for the commentators.
It's so funny how many times we'll say something and then the announcer will say it.
We're like, I just said that.
Yeah, like, or like what we were doing in the main event tonight, where like Cody's in the ring with them, and we're like, oh, Roman, oh wait, you're not Roman, oh, you all look alike. Stuff like that, just pretending to say things for the competitors. Stuff like that's fun.
It is.
And it's just like, that's one of the reasons that WrestleMania 33 is so big for me, is because the first live event that I got to watch was the return of the Hardys, who were a part of the first show the first pay-per-view I ever saw, period, which was another WrestleMania. The Undertaker in what should have been his last match.
Yeah.
Like I got
sad to say that, but yeah.
I got to see a really good show on my first time, and it was here. It's just like everything just sort of fell together.
It was spectacular
and full of excitement, and it was just awesome, and we haven't stopped since.
No.
Well, I mean, obviously, except for like
the ones that we can't because it's at like 3 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I can.
Yeah, I can't. I have
like
stuff to do.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I have the Peacock.
Yeah, you have Peacock. I don't have Peacock,
but luckily, I have the Peacock on my PlayStation, which is portable.
That's true.
So I can bring it here, and I can watch it with you with me.
Yes.
Yes.
So at any rate, yeah.
I think we've beaten all the bad blood we can out of this horse.
I do too. I think we can pull the plug on this one, and
yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. We hope you'll tune in next time as well. For the 3 of you that listen.
And that's like ever. The 3 of you that have ever listened to us.
Y'all have a great night.
Take care.